Welcome, gents. What happens when people underestimate someone who never needed their approval in the first place? That is the story of the Sigma male. He carries himself with quiet strength, and while the world often misunderstands his ways, life has a way of balancing the scales. Those who try to bring him down or take advantage of him eventually find themselves tangled in the very traps they set. That is karma at work. The Sigma male is not loud about his victories, but his growth speaks louder than words. When people choose to attack or doubt him, they unknowingly write their own lesson. Life makes sure they experience the same energy they put out. It is not revenge that shapes this outcome, it is the natural order of things. What you give is what returns, and with the Sigma male, that truth never misses its mark. If you are a Sigma male listening to this, let this remind you that every challenge and betrayal has its reward. You do not need to fight dirty or waste your energy proving a point. Your silence, your persistence, and your resilience already set everything in motion. People will realize too late that they should have left you alone because their actions come back to them harder than they expected. Stay steady in your path, keep your mind sharp, and never doubt the power of patience. Karma does the heavy lifting, and your strength is in knowing that you do not need to force anything. Life always pays back in full. Let's get started, gents. Number 1. Trying to sabotage a Sigma male's growth only makes him sharper, while the saboteur finds themselves stuck in the same place they wished on him. Think about this for a second. Have you ever noticed how when someone tries to pull another person down, it ends up hurting them more than the one they were trying to destroy? That is exactly what happens when people attempt to sabotage a Sigma male. Every obstacle thrown his way becomes fuel for his fire. Instead of breaking him, it sharpens his focus and forces him to adapt in ways that others could never manage. Picture a man working quietly on his goals while others whisper behind his back, plotting to see him fail. They spread rumors, throw distractions in his path, and even secretly hope his plans collapse. But here is the twist. Every challenge they throw becomes an unplanned training ground. The Sigma male uses the setback to grow smarter, tougher, and more resourceful. While they waste energy watching him, he is busy evolving into someone they cannot compete with. It is like trying to stop water with bare hands. The harder they press, the faster it slips through. Instead of drowning him, they end up trapped in their own shallow pond, stuck in the same cycles of jealousy and insecurity. Meanwhile, the Sigma male learns how to swim deeper and stronger, moving far beyond their reach. In everyday life, you might see this in the workplace where colleagues try to block a promotion, only to later watch the Sigma male rise even higher in a different space they cannot touch. Or in relationships where someone tries to play games with his emotions, only to end up alone while he quietly rebuilds himself into someone unshakable. The lesson is clear. Attempting to sabotage a Sigma male is like handing him free tools for self-improvement. He gains wisdom, clarity, and strength from every setback, while the saboteur is left with nothing but the bitterness of their own failed schemes. In the end, they wish they had left him alone because their effort to break him only became the reason he could not be broken. Number 2, people who spread rumors about a Sigma male eventually get exposed because truth always finds its way to light, while their credibility fades into dust. Have you ever seen how quickly a lie can travel, yet how quietly the truth waits until the perfect moment to step forward? That is the reality for anyone who tries to spread rumors about a Sigma male. People may believe the noise at first because gossip is easy to consume, but over time the truth always pushes its way through, and when it does, the ones who created the lies are the ones who pay the price. A Sigma male does not chase down every rumor or waste time trying to explain himself to those who already made up their minds. Instead, he stays focused on his path, knowing that consistency in his actions will eventually silence every false word. While others scramble to prove themselves, he allows his life to speak for him, and life has a funny way of keeping receipts. The same mouths that once spread his name in a twisted way eventually run dry when they get caught in their own contradictions. Think about it like this. At work, someone might spread lies to damage his reputation, hoping to block his progress. For a while, people might believe the stories, but then his results, his discipline, and his calm persistence make the truth undeniable. Suddenly, the liar is left exposed, losing respect from the very same crowd they once tried to entertain with falsehoods. Or in relationships, a person may twist the narrative, painting him as the problem, Yet with time, others begin to see the truth through his actions, and the storyteller is left looking dishonest. When you think about it, lies are like smoke. They may cover the air for a while, but eventually the wind clears everything, and only truth remains standing. That is why those who spread rumors about a Sigma male always regret it in the end. They burn their own credibility to ashes while his character stays intact. The louder they spoke, the harder they fall when reality finally exposes them. And by then it is too late to recover what they lost. Number 3. Every time someone disrespects a Sigma male, life gives them someone who mirrors their disrespect right back, and it cuts deeper than they expected. Disrespect always has a way of circling back, and when it comes to a Sigma male, that cycle seems even sharper. Every time someone throws disrespect his way, life has a way of handing them a mirror in the form of another person who treats them the same way, only harsher. It is almost poetic justice, and the sting is always worse than what they once dished out. A Sigma male rarely wastes his time getting into loud arguments or chasing people down to demand respect. He understands something many overlook. Time and experience will always do the work for him. The person who once laughed at him or dismissed him eventually finds themselves face to face with someone who gives them the same treatment, except with no patience and no restraint. That is when the lesson hits, and it hits deep. Think about the colleague who ignores his ideas in a meeting or talks down to him as though his words carry no weight. He will not fight for attention. Instead, he keeps producing results. Later, that same colleague finds themselves dismissed by someone higher up, treated as invisible, and suddenly they understand the pain they once caused. Or picture a relationship where someone mocks his quiet strength and belittles his calmness. They may walk away thinking they can find better, yet in time they meet someone who mirrors that disrespect back at them, only colder and without an ounce of care. What felt like a joke when they threw it now feels unbearable when it returns. Life is a teacher that never misses class. Disrespecting a Sigma male may seem easy in the moment, but the lesson that follows is unavoidable. The same disregard they gave him is the same disregard they eventually taste, except multiplied. And by the time they realize it, the Sigma male is already far ahead, untouched, reminding them that respect was a choice they should have made earlier. Number 4. Those who thought they could break his spirit end up breaking themselves because they underestimated the strength of a man who fights inward battles daily. People often look at the Sigma male and assume his calmness means he has had an easy path. They mistake his steady nature for simplicity and assume that breaking his spirit would be as easy as applying a little pressure. What they fail to realize is that this man has been fighting silent battles long before they even tried to test him, and those battles, fought in the privacy of his own mind and heart, have already forged him into steel. When someone tries to break him, they are not meeting a weak opponent. They are clashing with a man who has endured storms they know nothing about. He has wrestled with self-doubt, survived loneliness, and faced the weight of carrying himself without the crutch of constant approval. These inner struggles taught him how to rise again and again, no matter how heavy the fall. Take everyday life as an example. Imagine a boss who tries to crush his confidence with constant criticism. The boss believes the pressure will shatter him, but the Sigma male has already lived through harsher voices in his own head. He takes the criticism, filters out what matters, and keeps moving. The boss, on the other hand, ends up consumed by his own bitterness, frustrated that nothing can shake him. Or think of someone in a relationship who tries to tear him down emotionally, believing he will crumble. Instead, his resilience shines through. He does not collapse. The one who tried to break him ends up drained, realizing their efforts only exposed their own insecurities. The truth is simple. You cannot break someone who has already mastered the art of rebuilding himself from within. The Sigma male's spirit is battle-tested, and every attempt to crush it only turns into a mirror that reflects the weakness of those who tried. In the end, it is not him who breaks, it is them. Number 5, people who took his patience for weakness eventually face situations where no one gives them the mercy he once gave. Patience is one of the strongest qualities a Sigma male carries, but many mistake it for softness or weakness. They assume that because he does not react quickly, he can be pushed around or taken advantage of. What they fail to see is that patience is not the absence of strength, it is controlled strength. and life has a way of making sure that those who abuse it eventually experience what it feels like to be treated without any mercy at all. Think about someone at work who constantly tests his limits. They show up late to meetings, pile their responsibilities on him, or casually dismiss his contributions because they think he will quietly take it. He remains calm and does not explode. He keeps his focus steady. But here is what always happens. Later down the line, that same person runs into a boss, client, or colleague who gives them zero leniency, no grace period, no second chance. The very patience they abused becomes the exact mercy they beg for, but no one delivers it. The same applies in personal relationships. A partner or friend may take his patience as an invitation to disrespect him, thinking he will always forgive. They cross lines again and again until he finally withdraws. At first they do not feel the loss, but eventually they face someone new who refuses to tolerate even a fraction of what they once got away with. Suddenly they realize the weight of the patience they lost. Life always balances the scales. The people who thought his calm nature made him weak learn the hard way that they were being given a gift most never receive. When that gift is gone, they are left exposed to the raw reality of a world that does not bend for them. That is when regret settles in, because the mercy they once looked down on becomes the very mercy they desperately wish they still had. Number 6, betraying a Sigma male never ends at betrayal. Betrayal is never a small thing, and when it is aimed at a Sigma male, the ripple effects are powerful. People often think they can use him, deceive him, or turn on him without consequence. They assume he will simply move on in silence, but life has a way of teaching lessons that no amount of silence can erase. Those who betray a Sigma male eventually taste betrayal themselves, often from the very people they trusted the most. It is almost as if life writes the story to match their actions. A friend who stabs a Sigma male in the back later discovers that their own circle is not loyal. The same dishonesty they once practiced comes knocking at their door, but this time it is aimed at them. The pain feels sharper because it comes from a place where they thought they were safe. Think about a workplace situation. Someone undermines a Sigma male, taking credit for his ideas or twisting stories to make him look bad. For a while, they may feel clever, enjoying their short-term advantage, but eventually, another colleague does the same thing to them, leaving them exposed and humiliated. What they thought was a smart move turns into a trap they fall into themselves or consider a relationship. A partner who betrays his loyalty by seeking attention elsewhere may feel powerful at first, but life has a way of flipping the script. Soon they encounter someone who betrays them in the same fashion, leaving them broken and questioning why. The irony is hard to ignore. The Sigma male rarely seeks revenge because he knows life has its own system of balance. Those who betray him are not punished by his hands, but by the natural law that ensures what you give is what you eventually receive. Betrayal never ends at the moment it happens. It always circles back, and when it does, it cuts deeper than they ever imagined. Number 7. People who turned his kindness into a weapon eventually meet people who show them cruelty without limits. Kindness is often misunderstood. When a Sigma male extends kindness, it is not because he is naive or blind to the games people play. It is because he chooses to lead with decency even when the world does not always deserve it. But there are always people who take that kindness and twist it, thinking it is an opening to use him, control him, or take more than they should. What they do not realize is that life has a way of balancing these things. The moment they misuse his kindness, they set themselves up to encounter people who have no kindness at all. Picture this in the workplace. A Sigma male helps a colleague repeatedly, covering shifts, sharing knowledge, or offering quiet support. Instead of appreciating it, the colleague sees it as weakness and begins to exploit him. They assume he will never say no. But when that same colleague needs help later, they run into someone who is the exact opposite, someone who has no patience, no compassion, and no care for their struggle. The sharp contrast shows them how valuable the Sigma male's kindness really was. Or consider relationships. Maybe someone used his gentle nature to play games, believing he would always forgive. They took his forgiveness as permission to hurt him again and again. Eventually, life introduces them to a person who has no softness at all, someone who responds to their behavior with coldness, rejection, or even cruelty. Suddenly, the kindness they once abused feels like a luxury they can never get back. Kindness should never be mistaken for weakness. It is a strength few can carry without becoming bitter. Those who turn it into a weapon only find themselves victims of a world that mirrors their actions, and by then it is too late to ask for the mercy they once took for granted. Number 8. Those who wished failure on a Sigma male often end up in cycles of frustration, while he quietly thrives beyond their reach. It is strange how much energy people waste wishing failure on someone else. When the target is a Sigma male, that wasted energy becomes even more obvious. While they sit in the shadows hoping he stumbles, he is busy building, improving, and moving forward. The more they root against him, the more frustrated they become because his quiet progress keeps proving them wrong. A Sigma male does not announce every move or broadcast his goals to gain attention. He works in silence, focused on growth rather than approval. That is why people often underestimate him. They think his lack of noise means he is stagnant, but when his results start showing, their bitterness grows. And here is the irony. While they keep checking to see if he failed, he is already 3 steps ahead, thriving in places they cannot reach. Picture this in real life. A co-worker secretly hopes he misses deadlines or fails at a project, expecting to take his place. Instead, the Sigma male finishes with excellence and gains recognition. The co-worker is left fuming, stuck in the same spot, watching him advance. Or in personal relationships, someone might leave him, convinced he will crumble without them. But over time, they see him thriving in peace, while they are caught in repeated cycles of disappointment with others. Wishing failure on a Sigma male is like trying to stop the sunrise. It is not only impossible, it is foolish. The energy spent on negativity does nothing but drag the hater deeper into their own frustration. Meanwhile, the Sigma male converts every challenge into momentum, and by the time they look again, he has already reached a level they cannot touch. Their cycles of bitterness become their prison, while his steady progress becomes his freedom. That is the difference between someone who wastes energy pulling others down and someone who invests energy in pulling himself up. Number 9. Anyone who mistreats a Sigma male learns the hard way that loyalty and respect are rare currencies, and once lost, they can never buy it back. Loyalty and respect are not things a Sigma male throws around carelessly. He values them the way most people value treasure. When he gives his loyalty, it comes with depth and consistency. When he gives his respect, it is rooted in genuine recognition of character. But here is the thing. Once those gifts are broken through mistreatment, there is no way to buy them back. People often learn this lesson the hard way. Someone might think they can mistreat him and later smooth things over with apologies or shallow gestures. They assume he will forget because of his calm nature. What they fail to realize is that the Sigma male does not operate on empty words. He watches actions. Once you cross the line where his trust is shattered, he will never look at you the same again. Think about friendships. A friend who talks behind his back or betrays his confidence may later try to patch things up. But even if the Sigma male remains polite, the door to that deep loyalty is closed forever. He will never place that kind of trust in them again. Or in relationships, someone might take his commitment for granted, thinking he will always be there no matter how poorly they treat him. But when he finally walks away, there is no turning back. They can beg, promise, or cry, but they cannot undo the decision. His loyalty, once broken, is gone for good. In everyday life, we see people try to repair bridges they burned with a Sigma male, only to find those bridges are not just broken, they are gone. And this is what makes his loyalty so powerful. When you have it, you are standing on solid ground. But if you abuse it, you lose something priceless that no effort, no apology, and no persuasion can bring back. That is why those who mistreat a Sigma male eventually regret it deeply. They discover too late that they lost someone who does not give loyalty and respect lightly, and once it is gone forever. Number 10. Trying to compete with a Sigma male only exposes personal insecurities because he is not playing the same game, and karma magnifies that emptiness. Competition with a Sigma male is a strange thing because it almost always backfires. People see his calm progress and assume he is part of the same race they are running. They compare, they measure, they obsess over trying to beat him. But the Sigma male is not even on the same track. He is not chasing their validation or racing toward their finish line. He is moving at his own pace, on his own path. That is why anyone who tries to compete with him ends up exposing their own insecurities rather than proving their strength. Picture someone at work constantly trying to outshine him. They watch his every move, trying to one-up him in meetings or show off to get attention. Meanwhile, he is focused only on results. His silence frustrates them because no matter what they do, they cannot shake his focus. Over time, their need to compete becomes obvious to everyone around them, and instead of looking strong, they look desperate. The same thing happens in friendships or social circles. Someone may start comparing their achievements to his, trying to prove they are better. But while they are busy showing off, the Sigma male is busy improving. His growth is natural and consistent, not loud and forced. The harder they try to compete, the more hollow they look. Karma has a way of highlighting that emptiness. The person competing ends up drained, insecure, and dissatisfied because they are measuring themselves against someone who is not even playing the same game. The Sigma male thrives without noticing the race, while the competitor burns out trying to win against a man who was never their rival in the first place. That is the irony. Competing with a Sigma male is like shadow boxing. The only person you hit is yourself, and the emptier you feel, the more obvious it becomes to everyone else. Number 11. People who laughed at his struggles eventually face their own without the resilience he had to carry through his storms. It is easy to laugh at someone else's struggles when you have not yet faced your own. Many people look at the Sigma male during his hardest moments and mistake his silence for weakness. They see him battling challenges quietly, and instead of offering support, they mock or dismiss him. What they do not realize is that every storm he endures builds a resilience they do not have. And when life eventually brings storms to their doorstep, they discover just how unprepared they really are. Picture a man working 2 jobs, sacrificing comfort to build something bigger for his future. Others might laugh, calling him foolish for grinding so hard. They cannot see the bigger picture he's focused on. Years later, when they face their own financial struggles, they lack the discipline and endurance to handle the pressure. The very person they once laughed at has already built stability and strength, while they are crumbling under the weight of problems they never trained themselves to face. Or think of relationships. Maybe he went through heartbreak that left him shattered, and people around him smirked, thinking he would never recover. But instead of giving up, he used that pain to grow stronger and wiser. When those same people later face their own heartbreak, they collapse because they never developed the emotional muscle he gained through experience. Life is a fair teacher. It eventually puts everyone in situations where resilience is required. The Sigma male builds that resilience through struggle, while others waste their time mocking him. And when their turn comes, they realize the difference. His storms shaped him, theirs break them. That is why laughing at someone else's struggle is a dangerous game. The one you mock today may be the one thriving tomorrow while you face the storm without the tools to survive it. Number 12. Those who undervalue a Sigma male discover that they overestimated their own worth, leaving them bitter when life shows the difference. Undervaluing a Sigma male is one of the biggest mistakes people make, and it almost always comes back to haunt them. At first, they look at his quiet focus and think he does not carry much weight. They assume his calm presence means he has little to offer. Some even go as far as convincing themselves that they are the prize, that they are the ones holding the real value. But life has a way of exposing illusions, and when the truth unfolds, it often leaves them bitter and regretful. Take the workplace as an example. A manager may overlook him for opportunities, favoring louder and flashier personalities. They assume he will always remain in the background. But then the results begin to speak. His steady work, his problem solving, and his consistency make him the one everyone relies on when things truly matter. Suddenly the so-called favorites fall short, and the Sigma male becomes the anchor they can no longer ignore. By then, the respect they withheld cannot undo the years they wasted undervaluing him. Or think about relationships. A partner may take his loyalty and patience for granted, believing they can find someone better. They overestimate their own worth, thinking he will always be there waiting. But when he walks away and they see what the world actually offers, reality hits hard. They realize too late that they let go of someone rare, someone not easily replaced. That bitterness eats at them because the truth shatters the illusion they built around themselves. The lesson is simple. Underestimating a Sigma male does not reduce his value, It only highlights your inability to see it. And when life eventually shows the difference, the shock is painful. Those who undervalue him end up stuck in regret, watching from a distance as he thrives, while they struggle to come to terms with the worth they once dismissed. In final words, what does it really mean when life turns the tables in your favor? It means that every attempt to break you was never wasted, because it became the very fuel that shaped your strength. A Sigma male does not have to chase revenge or prove anyone wrong. Time and truth handle that work better than any argument could. Those who doubted you, mocked you, or tried to pull you down eventually end up facing the same storms they wished on you, only without the endurance you built in silence. Your journey is the proof that patience, resilience, and self-belief are never in vain. Every challenge you faced added another layer of armor. Every betrayal taught you where to place your loyalty. Every setback sharpened your focus. And now, while others struggle with the weight of their own choices, you stand taller, not because it was easy, but because you chose not to give up on yourself. Here is the beauty of it all. You do not need applause to know your worth. You do not need approval to validate your path. Your victories speak louder than anything your critics could ever say. Life itself becomes your loudest testimony, and those who once wished you harm are left wishing they had just stayed out of your way. So keep moving with quiet confidence. Keep building in your own lane. The world always makes room for those who refuse to bow to negativity. And in the end, your light will not just survive, it will outshine every shadow that tried to silence it. Thank you for watching, gents, and God bless you.